guys, he's a pedestrian here. Welcome back to the channel. A little quick moral here. If you watch my videos and you think you can relate to a lot of the shit that I talk about, if you ever think that you don't look that high and that you can control it 9 times out of 10, you look fucking high. Don't risk it. Don't go to work high. That's what I did. Almost got fucking fired. It's not worth it. Just wait till you get home. Today's story time starts off normal ass day, right? I work at McDonald's. I have a pretty good schedule every day. I work from 4 to 7 or 4 to 8. I get Wednesdays and Sundays off. Way better than my last job. So, except I'm irresponsible as fuck. So, of course, I was gonna find some way to fuck it up somehow. Luckily for me, my bosses are nice ass people. So today, out of all days, now this was the day that this was on Saturday. So I was working 11 to 5. Yeah, that fucking sucked. I was working at 11 to 5. I would wake up. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. Like I would stay up all night. I'd be tired as fuck in the morning, and I'd have to go to work all day, come home, go straight to bed. That was how my Saturday went. Like every day. And then I'd have Sunday off. So Sunday became like the holy grail of days. That was pretty much the only day that I really had free. I didn't have any school. I didn't have work. That was the day that I would always smoke. I didn't know how I was gonna smoke. I just had to smoke. Like it was Sunday. Today, I decided to smoke. And it's actually a pretty funny story of how I smoked. That's for another video. So I go into work. I'm thinking I'm fine. What I didn't realize is that my eyes were red as fuck. Like, super red. And I knew this, but I didn't think it'd be a problem because everybody at my job smokes. There's literally a guy who sells weed to everybody in the fucking place. I bought weed from him once. Everyone knows he sells, they just don't talk about it. They're just like, look man, I know you know that I know, but let's just keep it on the down low. You know what I'm saying? I would go into work high as fuck. My eyes were very fucking red. Bloodshot red. Not a single ounce of white. Except I had a hat on. So I try to keep the hat down. I go into work. As soon as I walk in, my boss notices. She didn't tell me she knew, but she gave me that look. I walked behind the counter. I walked past her. And she stared at me. And she was kind of looking under my hat. I could see her, her neck kind of moving. She was looking under my hat. Why are your eyes so red, motherfucker? I was like, oh fuck. So I walk past her, try to act casual. I try not to bump into the fucking grease tray where they cook the fries at. I'm very high. The best part about it is that I had a mask. So they couldn't see me smiling and shit. That was something I'd always do. Every single time I'd trick somebody into thinking I was sober, which I didn't. I was high, so I thought I did. I would smile and be like yeah. No one could see that. It was the coolest shit ever. Right off the bat, she didn't know. I don't think she knew. I think she was just suspicious because that's not really a viable thing to base something off of. You can't just look at somebody's eyes and go, oh yeah, he's high. Some people's eyes are just naturally red for no fucking reason. It happens. I walk back there. I hang up my coat in the back room, and I go to the grill. I worked at the grill and the fryer. I would flip patties and shit. I would put chicken nuggets. It was a pretty dangerous environment to be in. As soon as I walked in, everyone fucking noticed. They didn't smell it on me, but they saw it on me. When you can just kind of tell that somebody's high. When you've talked to someone and just hung out with someone for that long, you can just kind of look at them and be like, are you good? You kind of know. So I'm sitting there trying to act as normal as possible. I'm flipping my burgers, and all of a sudden I start getting really fucking hot. And this was nothing new to me. The grill, the fry, they were hot as fuck. But I was internally hot. I was really fucking hot. So I'm like, oh shit. So I put my spatula down, and I go to the back room, and I see my boy there. He's younger than me. He's about 15. I don't know how the fuck he got a job at McDonald's because they wouldn't hire me when I was 15. They refused to hire me. So, I don't know how the fuck he got a job there. But anyway, I go in there. I talk to him. He instantly knows. He's like, you're high, man? I'm like, yeah. So, he's like, cool. He's like, hey, man, I'm high too. I'm like, are you serious? You're fucking high? This guy was my boy. The other day, he offered to make me meth. not sell me meth. Make me and then sell me meth. I was like, what are you, Jesse Pinkman? Like, this guy, he knows how to make meth. He was like, yeah, man, you just give me some pseudo. I've seen Breaking Bad. He would offer me cigarettes. I wouldn't take them. He would offer me meth. I didn't take meth either. Guys, not that stupid. So I'm like, nah, I'm all cool, man. He asked me again. He's like, hey, man, you want some meth? I can make you some meth. I'm like, nah, I'm cool, man. So I go back out. I'm feeling a little bit better. I go in there, right? And I go back to the kitchen, and another guy I work with, let's call him Bill. He looks at me and he's like, you okay, man? Why your eyes so red? I'm just like, oh, I've got allergies, right? He's like, oh, you got allergies? Because I mean, you look pretty high. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. These are just normal allergies. He's like, because I have allergies too, but my eyes don't get that red. I'm like, well, you're not me, motherfucker. I get like this every summer. And he can kind of notice I'm off. I'm dropping the patties on the stove. Some of they're kind of like they're bending and shit. I'm taking a long time to open. Like, he can tell something's off, right? But I'm like, okay, this guy makes the same amount of money as me. As long as my managers don't notice, I'm cool. So more time goes by. I'm in the clear. I'm listening to music. I go to get a drink because they would always give you free drinks. Like, you can get any kind of drink you want, any size, for free, and just like drink it while you work. I went back there to get a drink, and the same fucking guy I mentioned earlier, the guy who offered to make me meth, you know, the guy who was gonna give me a cigarette, the same guy. I thought he was cool as shit. I hear him talking to the same lady, my manager, who was looking all in my eyes and shit, who was suspicious. So she's looking at me, right? And they look at each other. I see her nod at him, and like she gave him that look, like, you know, and then he nodded back, like, yeah, you know, it was, you know, that it was like that telepathic communication shit. Like, she nodded, and then he nodded back, and then she gave him that look, like, oh yeah. And then as soon as she finished nodding, she looked at me, dead in my eyes, right? I got my drink. I started walking back, and her eyes just started falling, like her head was just falling. This guy fucking snitched on me. I thought we were cool. You offered to make me meth. Why? I thought we were cool and you fucking snitched on me? I was dead set that this guy snitched on me. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back, he goes on his break. I go back to the break room, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Why did you snitch on me? He's like, I didn't snitch on you, man. I saw you nod at her. I saw you guys have that telepathic communication shit. You fucking snitched on me. Because right after she finished nodding, motherfucker, she looked at me and her head followed me. I know you snitched. He's like, bro, I do that all the time. I'm just a cool guy. I nod at people, they nod back. That was not a nod. That was like a, do you know what I know? No one nods like that. So I'm like, okay. Because I was high as shit, right? I was like, well, okay, if you say so. So I go back to the kitchen to resume my job, and the manager, she looks at me again, and she gives me that look, the same look from when I first came in. It's like that look, like, I know you know that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at her, like, fuck, she knows. She knows. I'm fired. I'm fired. And then in the back of my head, I was like, you know, she probably smokes too. She probably buys from the guy that I buy from. Like, I'm cool. Disclaimer, I didn't get fired. I almost got fired, though. That's what happened next. So I'm sitting there, and the lady that's in charge of, like, making the chicken nuggets and the McChickens and shit, she had to go. So it was up to me. So now I had to do the grill and the fryer while blasted, guys. I was like an 8 out of 10 high. I was so fucking high. No, maybe like a 9 out of 10. Like, I was really fucking high. So I go there, I go to the fryer, and I'm dropping the nuggets and shit. And occasionally the fryer would like ask you, like, do you want to filter now? I didn't know what the fuck that meant, but they the managers and shit, the ones who trained me, they were like, just say no every time. Just like say no and just keep using it. Like, it doesn't do anything. Just make sure you don't press yes whenever it asks you that, right? Guess what I did when it asked me? I had in my head, alright, I'm gonna press no. But I was so high and so like the body high was so strong that I accidentally pressed yes. And then it's like filtering now. I was like, fuck, what's going on? Like, I tried to like press buttons and shit to try to like to get it. And I'm just like, okay, alright, what the fuck is this? It wasn't doing anything. It was just kind of like beeping. Not like beeping, but like it was like blinking, like the display was blinking, like it wasn't really doing anything. So I go to John. John was kind of like the manager of the grill area. Like he wasn't a manager, but he was like higher up. Like he was like kind of the authority, you know. So I go to John, like, John, I don't know what the fuck I just did, but that thing's blinking. He looks at it. He looks at it. He looks at me. He's like, oh no. So I'm like, what? He's like, all right, I know how to fix this. And he starts fiddling around and shit. He starts like pressing buttons, going through all these menus, and then it's asking him to like confirm all this shit. He's doing like yes, no, like he's switching to all this stuff. I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing? Is he fixing it? I don't know. He's doing all this. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get somebody. Don't touch it. So then he tries to get like a manager. He's gone for like a solid 5 minutes, right? And then now everybody like sees that this thing is blinking and they're like, oh bro, did you press filter? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh man. 2 other guys, Andrew and this real heavyset guy. We'll call him Peter. So he goes here. He goes to the fryer. I'm like, bro, John said don't touch it. Let's just leave it alone. Now Andrew, he's like, nah, I fix this all the time. So he starts pressing all these buttons. All right, Andrew's got this. He starts doing all this stuff, the same shit John was doing, but except now he's confirming even more stuff. Shit I've never seen before. Stuff I didn't even know this thing could do. He's pressing all this shit. He's pressing like yes, no. He doesn't fix it. He's like, fuck, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for John. So he goes back to the table. I'm like, fuck, I'm so fucked, right? And then the heavyset guy, Peter, he goes here. He's like, bro, you guys are dumb. I know how to fix this. And I'm like, so Peter, he comes over here. He starts messing with it. I'm like, leave it the fuck alone. He's like, dude, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing. He starts messing with this shit. He's going through all these menus, just like John and Andrew did. The same shit, but except he's confirming more. It's like, the more people came to this fryer, the more I found out about it. Like, they were confirming shit I had never seen before. Like, they were turning different shit. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? So then Peter's like, oh yeah, this thing is fucked. I go back to the grill and I'm trying to remember this shit. I'm flipping the patties. I'm doing my job. I thought in my head, all right, if I don't pay attention to it and just forget about it, maybe it'll go away. Maybe it'll just be like a normal fryer again. Fucking wrong. I'm flipping patties, I'm listening to music, and all of a sudden I just hear, what the fuck? And I'm like, huh? And I look back, the entire floor, pool of grease coming from the bottom, just like a huge pool, like a mountain of fucking grease, just all over the floor, coming from the bottom of the fryer. That's what filter did. Apparently you're supposed to put a bucket under the thing whenever like you filter, so like you can put new grease in. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Like, I don't know why I didn't think maybe that's what filtering does. So there was no bucket, so the grease and it kept coming out. It kept pouring out. Who the fuck did this? Guess who was the first one to talk? Fucking Peter. He blamed it all on him. He's like, oh yeah, he was doing all this shit to it. It felt like this entire day, everybody was just fucking me over. To be fair, I was the one who started it. Like, I was the one who activated the filtering shit. But to this day, I'm 100% convinced that I didn't do that shit. Okay, that was one of them. They were doing all this random shit, all this bullshit. That had nothing to do with me. So they looked at me like, why did you do this? We told you not to press the filter. I'm over here sweating. This is not a good situation to be high in, okay? I'm like, oh God, what the fuck? No, that was him. He was over there filtering. And then Peter's like, nah, don't try to lie, man. I'm like, fuck you. This guy, he's like 6'3", fat as fuck. Real heavyset guy, plays football and everything. Dude, you gotta clean this up right now. And that was the manager. Like, he always called me dude. He gets like this big bag. It was like I don't know what the fuck it was. It was like rocks. It was kind of like that shit that like the school would put on snow, you know. And it was like salt or some shit. It was almost like that, but it wasn't. It was like these blue rocks, kind of like crystal meth from Breaking Bad or some shit. And he puts it all over the grease, and apparently that was supposed to suck it up. Not like completely clean it, but it was supposed to help. He's like, alright, I don't know which one of you fucking did this, but whoever did is in trouble. It's like, oh, fuck. Peter, what the fuck? I told you not to touch it. John was gonna get help. Everyone is just fucking me over. So I try to mind my own business. I'm flipping my patties, waiting for that shit to suck up, right? And then my manager, not the one who was suspicious of me, but the other manager, he walks up to me. He's like, who trained you? I'm like, yeah, I mean, the guy, I think he quit because I forgot his name. He's like, who fucking trained you? I'm like, Rashad. I got here, and then Rashad trained me. He's like, all right, do your job. Take this trash out. I'm like, okay. I take the trash out. I go there, and I start, like, sweeping, right? He's like, traditionally, we put a bag in the garbage before we sweep. I'm like, fuck, okay. That's so obvious. Why didn't I think of that? I'm freaking out like, oh yeah, no, you're right, sir. Why didn't I think of that? I'm so stupid. I'm trying my best to stay on this guy's good side. I'm taking out the trash, and I would always fucking see the managers talking to each other. The managers getting on the phone. And because I was so high, I would automatically assume they're talking about me. They want to fire me. They want to get rid of my last job. That's his story time for another day. My last job, they gave no fucks. I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. And that looks terrible on your resume. I got fired from 2 jobs in less than 6 months. Like that's crazy, right? So every time I'd see them on the phone, I'd think, oh fuck, are they talking about me? Are they gonna fire me? Guys, they were never talking about me. They were having conversations. I was just really cautious and dumb, right? Sooner or later, all the grease dried up. My shift was over. The high was kind of starting to die down. Guys, I don't know what kind of weed this was, but you know that feeling after you smoke weed? You're not really high, but you kind of feel like out of it, you know, kind of like you feel kind of fuzzy, you know, after you smoke some really good weed. And for like me, it could be like a whole day. It could be like 2 hours. You feel just kind of, you know, I had that feeling. So I wasn't really high, but people just knew I looked kind of at it. By then, everyone knew that I was high. Bro, John, the guy I told you about, smokes every day. This guy's like 60. He's late 50s or like mid 60s. This guy was old. He knew I was high. And earlier, when people were like accusing me of being high, like, bro, he's obviously high. He was the main one saying, hey, if you say he not high, he ain't high, because he knows. Deny. My shift ends. Shitty ass day. Terrible day. Almost got fired. I still got a quarter pounder. I still food all the fucking time. Look, you call it being broke. I call it being smart. Like, I make the food, motherfucker. Like, I'm taking it, and they didn't care. So, I left, quarter pounder in my hand, still kind of high. I was convinced that the next day I would come back in, and they'd just be like, you're fired. Get the fuck out. They didn't. They didn't care. They forgave me. And, moral of the story, don't go to work high, because 9 times out of 10, when you think you can control it, you can't. And that wasn't even the whole story. I took out a bunch for time-saving purposes. That was just like the main points. I might tell the rest in a later video. Leave a like if you want to see that. Leave a like if you want to see more. I might start doing rapid-fire story times now, where I tell 3 or 4 story times in one video. So, you know, I'm not, like, all the videos aren't super short. You have like some 30-minute videos with a lot of story times on one topic. All right, leave a like, subscribe, comment if you want to see that. Yeah, that's it.